Hi, I'm Darren with All in Learning, and I'm excited to share with you about using the student portal. So we're going to show you how you can post an assessment there, what it looks like for the students as well. Some of the benefits to this: all your devices are going to work in our cloud as long as they're connected to the internet. Easy way for students to take assessments and then get a lot of feedback right away if you choose to use that. So that feedback loop to the students is great. We support lots of question types, including a number of the technology enhanced items and more on the way. And the data that does get collected, you have a way to flow that to students and their families. So we can you have a way very easily to flow the data to the students and their families. So let's go ahead and get started. I have logged in to my account and I'm ready to give a quiz to my class. And so I'm going to activate this and post it to the student portal. I'm going to select my class, my 5B class. And then we've got a lot of options for you here. So we're going to walk through these just real quickly. You have some student tools. So we allow for annotation. There's a scientific calculator, the periodic table, eliminator. So some of those tools that students would use on the state test, we have those integrated into our platform. You can set a date for this to be available, or dates for the test to be available in the future. So you can actually build an assessment now and plan ahead for a certain day or certain days to make that assessment available. You can time the assessment. So you can have the students on a timer. Once they start the test, they've got 20 minutes to complete it, for example. We have audio accommodation for read aloud for students that qualify for that accommodation. You have the ability to secure the test. So you can lock it down, and if they leave the assessment screen, they'll get kicked out of the test. You've got to let them back in. So it's a scenario where you want to actively monitor the students in that environment. If it's going to be sometime in the future and you won't be monitoring it, you always have to let the students back in if they get kicked out. So just a warning there. Best practice is if they're in front of you and you want to do it, lock it down. That's a great time to do it. Otherwise, you leave it open for them. You can scramble the test and then provide the students feedback as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on this assessment. We've got our settings there, and I'm going to activate this assessment. So it's now live in the student portal for the students to log in and take. There is an embed this assessment link there. What that allows you to do is if you wanted to post the link for the students to your LMS so that they're used to going there to get assignments and so forth, you can post the link for this test to the LMS. They'll click on that. They'll log in and it'll launch the test form right away. So we integrate with all those great learning management systems that are out there. One request that we got was, I as a teacher want to be able to see what the students see. So I'm going to show you that now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and leave this session active. So we'll come back to this later, all right, and finish grading the assessment. So how I can view what the students see in the student portal is I'm going to click on my classes tab, and then I'm going to click on the class roster, which is my 5B roster here. And so you'll see here there's an option to view the student portal view. So I'm going to click on that, and then it shows me the assessments that are active, and then there's the launch assessment, so I can go in and see exactly what the students see. So it's a great way for you to preview and to see what the students are going to see. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to transition from being the teacher to being the student. So I'm going to slide over here. We have multiple student login options. So they can log in with Clever or ClassLink, sign in with Google. I don't have any of those options, so I'm going to go ahead and log in with my username and password. So I'm logged in as Tom to take my assessment. So I'm going to launch this assessment. And so I'm just going to walk you through a couple of these questions here. So I'm going to click on the correct answer here and go to the next question. Here's another question. So I've turned on the pencil and I can highlight, circle what I want to, annotate there exactly how I want to, and then I can click in my answer. I'm going to go to the next question here. So here's a short answer question. We're looking for an exact character match. So the correct answer that I'm going to type in, or the answer that I'm typing in, is a blurb. If I've spelled that correctly, then I'll get credit for it. If I misspelled it, then you as a teacher can see that in the responses, and you can overwrite that. So you can accept the student's answer. Let's pretend like the student typed in blurbs. They made it plural. Well, you can choose to give them credit for that. The next question is a solve for X and show your work to receive full credit. So I could turn on the pencil and I could show my work there. There's an option there to type in my work, so I could click in there to type in my work. Another option that I have is to insert an image. So maybe I solved it on a piece of paper and I took a picture of it. Well, I'm going to click on that to upload my work, so you can see my handiwork there, and I'll click upload
Image
work.
widget.
I'll go to question 5 here. Now this is a writing prompt, so again I can type in my work here, and I can submit it's asking me about my favorite field trip. And I'm going to click upload work. So when the student's done taking the test, I'll click show summary. And then I'll say I'm finished, and it will submit my work, and it tells me that I've got a 40 on the test because the teacher said they wanted that feedback. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna be the teacher again, so I'm gonna go back that way. I'm back as a teacher now, and I want to activate that assessment and go ahead and end it. So I'm gonna, from my home screen, there's an active sessions window there, and I can see the assessment that I've done, and I can click activate, and I'm going to click post to the student portal. And so you'll see here that Tom has finished the assessment, and so I'm going to click in here. So it's highlighted pink because I've got to grade something on this, all right? And that's the rubric, and so we'll get to that in just a second. So we see the answers to these questions here. I'm going to click View Student Work. And I can see the student's work here. So this is great. I see Tom. I see that he's solved this problem, but he followed the steps correctly, but he didn't get the right answer. So what's nice about that is I can give him partial credit. He followed the steps, he didn't get the right answer, so I'm not going to give him full credit, but I can give him partial credit. This last option here, I've got to go in and grade, so there's the View Student Work, and it says I loved going to the museum. So that's not really a paragraph, so I'm going to click on the rubric here. And now this is a rubric that I set up. You can set up your own rubrics. You can customize those with the right categories and the right grading levels. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Tom grades in each of those, scores in each of those, and click Save and Close. So in the Support tab, we walk through using all of the different question types and grading options you have there. This is meant to give you a quick hit on this and a quick setup on how you can use this and what it looks like for the teacher and for the student. So I'm going to go ahead and click End Session and OK. I'm back on the student side, and I want you to see some of the reports that are available for students to see in the portal. Of course, you turn these on, so it's completely at your discretion as a teacher. I'm going to click on the Reports tab, and I'm going to click on Sessions. And a couple of things here around the sessions. So I can see the assessments that have been posted. I can see my score. I see the date. And then when I click on this report here is providing me feedback on how I performed on the standards on this assessment. So it's great that I see that I got an 80 on it, but I need to know where I can improve. And I see in this example here that I missed 2 out of the 4 questions on 4.10b. So I know exactly where I have an opportunity for growth. Providing students and their families this level of feedback is absolutely critical to growth, and it lets them focus on areas of improvement. And we seamlessly flow this data. So when you say you want them to see the standards report, it's a button and it's in their accounts. When I click on progress trackers, I can see the classes where my teachers are tracking my performance on the standards. So when I click to open this is my fourth grade math class. I'm able to see how I am performing on the standards in this class. And so the progress tracker for the students and the families to see is so fantastic, because it'll show a student where they started on a standard and their progress throughout the year on the standards that you're assessing them on. So it gives them an assessment by assessment view of the data from the standard standpoint, so they can see their progress all year long. They can see when they struggled and see when they've grown, and ultimately how they're mastering the standards that you're teaching in your class. So this was a quick training on using the student portal as the teacher, as the student, what both of those experiences are like. We have detailed information under the support tab. That's where you can look at the support articles, get step-by-step instructions, and get help if you need some. Thank you so much for attending this session, and we look forward to the next one.